Olinguito. The olinguito feels like something science accidentally forgot to mention. At first glance, it looks like a cartoon animal brought to life. Big eyes, soft fur, and a face that feels almost too gentle for the wild. But this small mammal stayed hidden in South American cloud forests for decades, even while living close to humans. The olinguito prefers high-altitude forests, where thick fog, dense trees, and constant moisture make visibility almost impossible. It moves silently through the canopy at night, feeding mostly on fruit, insects, and small prey. What makes it remarkable isn't danger, it's how easily it avoided attention. Museums had specimens mislabeled for years. Scientists were literally looking at it without realizing what it was. The olinguito isn't aggressive, territorial, or loud. It survives by staying unnoticed. In a world where survival often means being stronger or faster, this animal proves that sometimes being invisible is the greatest advantage. Honduran white bat. This bat doesn't look real, and that's exactly why it's fascinating. The Honduran white bat is tiny, snow-white, and almost glowing against green leaves. Instead of hiding in caves like most bats, it creates small tents by carefully cutting leaves and roosting underneath them. It lives in Central American rainforests, where predators rely on contrast and movement to hunt. Its bright color might seem risky, but when filtered through sunlight and leaves, it actually helps the bat blend into its surroundings. Unlike the scary reputation bats often get, this species feeds almost entirely on fruit. It plays a quiet role in seed dispersal, helping forests regenerate naturally. The Honduran white bat isn't dangerous, aggressive, or threatening. It survives through cooperation, camouflage, and calm behavior, a reminder that nature doesn't always rely on fear to endure. Saola. If mystery had a face, it would look like the saola. Often called the Asian unicorn, the saola lives deep in the forests of Vietnam and Laos. It avoids roads, villages, and open spaces so effectively that even locals rarely see it. The saola's long horns and gentle expression make it look calm, almost ancient. It feeds on plants near streams and shaded areas, moving slowly and carefully to avoid detection. What makes the saola extraordinary is how little we know. It isn't aggressive. It doesn't defend territory loudly. It doesn't adapt well to captivity. Its survival depends entirely on remaining undisturbed. The saola's biggest threat isn't predators, it's human expansion. Roads and traps meant for other animals are the real danger. This creature isn't fighting nature. It's quietly losing ground to it. Dumbo octopus. Deep in the ocean, far below sunlight, lives an animal that looks oddly peaceful. The Dumbo octopus floats through cold, dark waters using ear-like fins, giving it an almost weightless appearance. Unlike other octopuses, it doesn't rely on speed or ink clouds to escape danger. Instead, it drifts. It lives at extreme depths, where pressure would crush most life. There, it feeds slowly on small crustaceans, conserving energy in an environment where food is scarce. The Dumbo octopus isn't aggressive or threatening. It doesn't hunt violently. It survives by being efficient, calm, and perfectly adapted to conditions humans could never tolerate. In one of the harshest environments on Earth, this animal proves that survival doesn't always require strength. Sometimes it requires balance. Naked mole rat. The naked mole rat might look like something out of a sci-fi horror, but in reality, it's one of the most extraordinary mammals on Earth. Unlike typical rodents, its skin is almost completely hairless, giving it a wrinkled, pinkish appearance. These tiny creatures rarely see the light of day. They spend almost their entire lives underground in elaborate tunnel systems stretching hundreds of feet. What makes them truly remarkable is their social structure. Naked mole rats live in colonies similar to bees or ants, with a single breeding queen and non-reproductive workers. This eusocial behavior is extremely rare among mammals. Biologically, they are unique too. They barely feel pain due to a mutation in their pain-sensing neurons, and their resistance to cancer has puzzled scientists for decades. Their metabolism is extremely slow, allowing them to survive in low-oxygen environments underground. They primarily feed on tubers, gnawing them carefully without destroying the root so it can regrow. A subtle, sustainable form of farming underground. Despite their strange looks, they are excellent diggers and highly intelligent for their size, communicating with squeaks, chirps, and body movements. Naked mole rats teach us that survival doesn't rely on strength or beauty, but on cooperation, adaptability, and extraordinary resilience. Pink fairy armadillo. The pink fairy armadillo is possibly the most delicate and elusive armadillo species in the world. At only 4 to 5 inches long, it's tiny, with a soft pink shell that seems almost translucent. This shell is not only beautiful but functional. It protects the armadillo while allowing flexibility as it tunnels rapidly through sandy soils. Found in central Argentina, the pink fairy armadillo is nocturnal and extremely shy. It spends most of its life underground, creating short, shallow burrows to hide from predators and to hunt for ants, larvae, and roots. Its silky white fur on the underside keeps it warm in the chilly desert nights, while its strong front claws act like natural shovels, enabling it to disappear into the sand in seconds. Sadly, this species is rarely seen in the wild because of its fragile nature, habitat loss, and sensitivity to environmental changes. Researchers consider it a living gem of evolutionary adaptation, a reminder of the hidden wonders of the desert world. The pink fairy armadillo shows us that even the tiniest creatures can be perfectly designed for survival, blending beauty and utility in ways humans can scarcely imagine. Giant isopod. Deep beneath the Atlantic and Pacific Oceans lurks a creature straight out of a nightmare or a science fiction movie, the giant isopod. These massive crustaceans can grow up to 2.5 feet in length and resemble oversized pill bugs, with segmented armor-like bodies and jointed legs. Giant isopods are scavengers, feeding primarily on dead fish, squid, or whales that sink to the ocean floor. They survive in freezing temperatures and extreme pressures of the deep sea, sometimes going months without food due to their incredibly slow metabolism. Their bulging, compound eyes are adapted to detect the slightest glimmers of light in the pitch-black depths, allowing them to spot potential meals from far away. Despite their fearsome appearance, they are largely passive creatures. However, their size and armored shell make them almost untouchable to most predators. Scientists study them as examples of deep-sea gigantism, a fascinating phenomenon where some species grow far larger than their shallow-water relatives. The giant isopod reminds us that evolution doesn't follow human notions of beauty or speed. Sometimes, survival is about size, patience, and perfect adaptation to extreme conditions. Leaf deer, muntjac. The leaf deer, or muntjac, is a small, almost magical-looking deer, native to South and Southeast Asia. Slightly larger than a house cat in some cases, it is covered in a reddish-brown coat, with delicate features and tiny antlers. These deer are so small and nimble that they can hide in dense undergrowth, evading predators almost effortlessly. Muntjacs are known for their surprisingly loud vocalizations, earning them the nickname barking deer. They use these barks to communicate threats, attract mates, or warn of predators. Despite their petite size, they can be surprisingly aggressive when cornered, using their sharp canine teeth and quick reflexes to defend themselves. They feed on leaves, shoots, fruits, and fungi, often playing a vital role in seed dispersal in their forest habitats. Because of their elusive nature, they are rarely seen in the wild, making them a hidden treasure of Asia's forests. Their adaptability to both dense forests and fragmented landscapes demonstrates a remarkable evolutionary resilience. The leaf deer proves that in nature, even the smallest and quietest creatures hold extraordinary strength, alertness, and a vital role in the world around them.